Thank you for having me. Okay, so about today is the demands that we're having on higher education. Certainly, they've never been greater. We have economic shifts and technological changing our workforce requirements worldwide. And recent studies have indicated that leaders believe that our current system is broken. And so the question becomes, how do we repair the system? So the focus of technology-enhanced learning has shifted from web-based learning to mobile learning, to context ubiquitous. It's even gone one step further in its evolution. Now it's known as smart learning, and learners are provided access to a technology-enhanced environment that's capable of personally advising them. So the broken higher education model may soon be fixed because learners can now practice in authentic environments, which can translate into the skills that employers are saying are so desperately needed. So what I'd like to do today is talk a little bit about how higher education is struggling to keep pace with the changing world and how the adoption of smart learning environments may serve to mitigate this trend. So the Online Learning Consortium has been involved in these discussions because we're very passionate about the direction in which education is going, both in the US and globally. And as was mentioned in my introduction, I've been involved in technology my entire career and became passionate about online education when I myself was a student at a distance. So there are countless examples of innovation and improvement in learning experiences, from the mundane, pulling our textbooks into learning management systems. Teaching practices are moving globally to flipped and blended and proper systems of technology. And right now, education is rife with innovation. So to put this discussion into context, let's look at what is happening globally in higher education. Employers in the MENA region complain that university graduates lack the skills needed to work in the global marketplace. Many are trained in science, mathematics, engineering, and other technical subjects, but these graduates lack the soft skills, including creativity and teamwork, partially because their training is really focused on memorization and rote learning. This trend is not confined to the MENA region alone. In the United States, employers believe higher education institutions do not prepare learners for the workplace. Recently, the IBM Institute for Business Values surveyed more than 5,600 global executives worldwide from a variety of disciplines, including higher education. They expressed lack of confidence in higher education's ability to solve the world. If this were a test, how would receive a 0? The traditional business models are not sustainable in the current market environment. Higher education a generation that they can't repay because the jobs that they study for just don't exist. This is an international crisis too big to be ignored. So as we were discussing, we're into both technical skills and soft skills with the ability to understand and utilize technology. This digital generated skill set, it's an outgrowth of being merely generation. Are feeling the pressure to build their employability. For example, 1 out of 2 learners in the UAE are currently pursuing a career in either business or engineering, yet 32% of learners believe they are not truly equipped with the skills and training required for their chosen career. Yet nearly half of all local learners report these concerns. So what we're seeing is that there's a disconnect between learner and employer perceptions. Graduates today have less skill and experience than the typical worker, which is where a well-designed, smart learning environment can play a significant role. As one researcher put it, it takes on the role of a trusted advisor who pursues opportunities to coach the learner and his or her daily life by incorporating into. So if we look at a smart learning environment, we can see that it enables learning at any time, at any place. So imagine that you're a university physics teacher and you're teaching concepts like gravity and friction and velocity and inertia. In a classic learning environment, classroom with time. But what if you could teach these concepts by taking your students out to a racetrack where they could look at velocity in a car firsthand? Back in the old days, when I was growing up, it was difficult to learn something if you were not in the physical presence of someone who was teaching you. We found a lot of clever people, and we put them in a building, and we sent our learners to that building in the hopes that they would learn something. In contrast, smart learning environments enable permanency, where learning materials are always available unless purposely deleted. They enable accessibility, where access from everywhere is personally required. Wherever a student is, he or she can immediately access the learning materials and interactivity, online collaboration with teachers and or their forums, and situated instructional activities where you have learning in context and adaptability, getting the right information at the right time. There are three types of computer devices: wearable, handheld, and interactive tablets and boards that facilitate smart learning. And these include anything from smartphones to RFID to GPS to augmented reality. And the main characteristics of these technologies include the following. They serve as helpers and servants. They are quiet and invisible. The user is not necessarily aware of the presence, just of the interaction, and they should not demand attention. Through a centralized or decentralized architecture, the smart environment would know who you are, where you are, what device you're using, your dynamic skills and ability profile, whether it's night or day, what time it is, who is near you, device is near you. So many learning puzzle are now plays. And so let's look at the diagram example. So you have a student carrying a tablet, and here's at school. The telescope broadcasts its availability to the tablet, which then informs the student of this. If the student agrees, the tablet and sends information through its intelligent personal learning agent about the student. For example, the student's age, their class, their learning profile, their interests, so on. Transfers the information that is appropriate to student about itself, what it can do, and perhaps showing on the tablet screen what it's. Also, the tablet connects to a cloud astronomy app for added experience and information. And finally, the telescope proposes a small interactive game from which it can what has been learned or not, and then perhaps contacts a fellow student to join the game online. This, of course, would be part of a broader educational experience. The advancements in smart learning, and I would say smart learning was a while ago where it was Web 1.0. I would say smart learning is a smart learning 1.0. But let's look at some experiments that are currently happening. So you have the Unmanned Vehicle University, and what they've been doing is using top subject matter experts in simulation technology. We're the first to have fully online programs. They have robust drone simulations, and students move from theory to practice, which in turn leads to far better learning outcomes. University of Limerick, they wanted to put together a collaborative forecasting tool so students could better immerse themselves in dynamic and competitive group activities. And so they use this tool as it applies to a wide range of disciplines like economics, taxes, risk management, politics, and finance. You have Duke University that through a robotic telepresence, nurse students have a virtual can develop their coaching and their problem-solving communication skills as they provide clinical guidance. And finally, at Australia's National Aquarium, underwater scuba divers can see and hear and interact with students and give them firsthand experience of the delicate marine ecosystem. So what we need to do is reimagine the classroom. We need to open our classrooms to bring the smart learning that exists out there in the world, such as the examples I just went through. And secondly, we must rearrange what we do in the classroom so that our learners have seamless access to what is out there in the world, particularly if we have traditionally spent time lining learners up in rows and having them face the front of the classroom. We don't need to do that anymore. But to embrace the smart learning experience, a culture of innovation and creativity and entrepreneurism and even a growth mindset needs to be established. from the president to the need to ultimately create a culture of smart failure, because by using a culture, we then begin to learn from those lessons. And it's the best way to produce the kinds of people that industry wants to hire and the kind of people that will have greater satisfaction in life. Smart learning emphasizes what students can do with knowledge, units of knowledge. Let's look at the MENA region and its opportunity to uplift its colleges and universities. Research shows that a smart learning approach can contribute to deeper learning. This capability offers the potential to create more seamless long learning journeys along the education to employment pathway, a key to addressing youth unemployment, which is still plaguing many countries in the Middle East. To establish smart learning across the Middle East, countries should exchange best practices and smart learning assets across borders so that they can more expediently realize the full impact of these concepts on higher education. But to effectively deploy these on a large scale, these promising approaches will require a profound transformation of how our faculty members interact with learners, as well as how faculty create and improve curriculum programs. Perhaps the greatest conceptual shift for faculty to absorb will be the new reality that the effective teaching of each learner takes a village, and that the individual or instructor in isolation can no longer achieve this, and that the classroom walls will become increasingly more porous. So, and finally, in today's dynamic post-secondary environment, establishing a continuity in leadership at multiple levels is an institution imperative, and my colleague Larry Reagan will be talking about that shortly. We've partnered with Larry Reagan and Penn State to create a leadership program for those individuals who need to lead and need to be trained to lead in this evolving environment. The higher education models of lectures and examination has barely changed for centuries, despite dramatic changes in the world and a growing number of universities and graduates. The continued advancement of technology supporting smart learning offers countless and exciting prospects to develop new learning environments. It is important that academic leaders engage with government and industry leaders to dialogue and collaborate on smart learning initiatives and embrace how these new ways of thinking and working together can make the connections between the university and the world beyond stronger as industries and the types of skills required are redefined. Thank you so much.